One of my students just got offered 15K for his bot. What happened next is going to surprise you. Hi, it's Dan here from Flexxable, and today I wanted to talk to you about one of my students. He's in my school community, and I'm just having a look at his post now. He said, "Hi, anyone ever find themselves in a situation where someone wants to buy your bot outright? This is to say they want the inner workings of the bot, the prompts, the everything. I got an offer for this and asked what they paid for it all, and they said $15,000 US. Okay, he declined really fast. And personally, he thought 15K, what's that, like 3 to 5 months of running it with a 40% cut? And basically, he's just saying here that he wasn't too interested in doing it, but he asked my advice because at the bottom here he says, am I crazy for just not saying yes to it? And I kind of understand where he's coming from, because he's obviously installed this AI solution using our training into a client's business. He's running things on a performance basis. And the way that works and the way I teach it is that we approach a client and ask if they've got any old leads. And if they have any old leads, we ask if they want to turn them into sales using AI. And we do this on a performance basis, which means, Mr. Client, if you don't make sales, you don't pay us, right? It is what I like to call the offer of the century. And clients very rarely say no to it. This is how we got the client. Things are working very well for him. What I think happened to Zach is that he started with their database and then he installed the AI bot from the database onto their fresh leads. So now he's starting to see some recurring income coming through, right? And the client is probably thinking, well, listen, I'm paying this guy, 5K per month or whatever it is. What if I just make an offer for 3 times the monthly revenue? And maybe I can get a cheeky deal. My advice to Zach was listen, it depends what stage you are in your life. For me, if I was just starting out and I was developing a relationship with a client, but I needed the money, then I probably, that 15K was a lot of money to me at some point in time, right? And it might be for a lot of you listening to this video. So I probably would have taken it. And my advice would have been to him at that point is that negotiate a deal where you get perhaps a little bit less, but keep a little bit on the back end of every sale that comes through. So you can maybe take 10K, but keep your finger in the pie and get paid a small percentage on every sale that occurs, for 6 months, for 12 months, or whatever that might be. The client is probably going to be willing to do that because they pay less upfront, and they also they would have tied Zach in for a few months afterwards to make them feel safer about the transaction. And if we're really confident that what we're doing is going to make a big difference to the business, going to make sales, then he could potentially have earned more along that way. He could have asked the client for some referrals to people he might know that are in a similar industry. I'm kind of more about relationships over money. And if we're able to help build those relationships, then the money will come, whether it be from that individual relationship or other referrals and stuff like that. Okay, so that was my advice to him. Some other people here are saying absolutely not crazy to reject that offer. Add an extra 0. Intellectual property is priceless, at least 35K plus to purchase, plus a consulting fee of 40K to implement. So, and then it got interesting here, because my thing was, depends on what stage of life you're at, man. If there are no restrictions on doing again for the same industry, I would consider. Perhaps say yes and negotiate a small back-end payment on each sale in return for maintenance. That way you have some nice passive income coming in. You can always upsell on something else, so they're not dead in the water. I have some upsell training coming, blah, 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 right? And then it gets interesting, right? So he came back 2 months later. He ended up doing a 30% cut in profit. And so far they've done a little under $39,000 in profit using the bot, and likely more to come as they have more leads to use. Okay, so he's saying he's made a lot more money than they initially offered from the deal. But to be honest, if I had to do it again, I'd probably say F it and take the 15K. So I don't know. It really depends. I think the point is that we have an opportunity here to really, make some good money for what we're doing here, because AI is doing all of the work as well, right? There's not much downside from either taking the money up front or kind of dragging it out like Zach did. The main thing is that we have an offer that people are really excited about. They're willing to pay for it. and it just works really well. For those of you who are interested in figuring out how we do this, how we position our AI bot, we call it a sales android, on a performance basis, and how we take old leads and convert them into sales, I have a book called The Instant AI Agency. There'll be a link below in the description. It shows you exactly how to do this, exactly what Zach did. This is the template he followed in order to make that type of money. It's all yours in a book, and it's really affordable. Check it out, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.